making a shrug. Yes, a shrug. Not to be confused with a shrub. So I'm making it, and it looks like this, and it's actually a vest, because a shrug is a type of vest. And it may be the color of a shrub, but no. We are making a vest. It's going to be a pretty crocheted vest, and when I'm done with it, it's going to have sleeves on it that are like fluffy, like the sleeve I have on now. And it's going to be this gray heather color, and then of course the patty green color that I'm already working on. So as I'm working on this, I figure I will talk a little bit about crochet and the crocheting that I do. I usually make blankets and scarves, so they're things that will keep a person warm. There's a blanket here on this bed. So there's lots of things that I make that are just, occasional use. Something to sit on the couch and cuddle up with. Something to keep you warm. And I don't make a lot of clothing out of crochet. And, well, most of the time people expect it to be warm. I expect it to keep them warm, and that's part of what this shrug will do. The shrug will definitely keep someone warm because it's going to have sleeves, and it's going to be kind of decorative. So most people will go, oh, that's cute, and might not wear it very often, but it's something that I know how to make. I also make not jackets, but ponchos, and there's a method of crocheting to make a top that looks kind of pretty, but it all depends on the yarn you use, colors you use, and some people will be thrilled and some people won't. Got so many projects open and in the works right now. There's a blanket that I've been working on for a year. Not surprising, I've done that before. It's been started and it sits there for a little while, and then I get really busy, with things that I'm doing, and then I put it to the side, and then I get back to it, usually in the wintertime. Because days like this, when it's been snowing outside or raining outside, I don't want to go anywhere. It's cold. My hats are never big enough to keep my ears warm. I've made some really awesome hats too, because I need the right kind of hat to keep my ears warm. I've been commissioned to make scarves. I have a ton of different patterns for scarves, and I've sat and worked on them for a considerable amount of time. And it happens. I also sew. I do other crafts, and ooh, what happened here? So I'm going to have to pull all of this off of this ball. Okay, I see what happened. This is the other end of the ball. This is supposed to be in the center. That just makes a few things more difficult. Someone decided that this side needed to be in the center. Usually I have a television on while I'm crocheting, but if I get into a really good program that I'm interested in, I kind of stop and I stare at it instead of working on my crocheting, and this just doesn't help be productive. It doesn't help at all. So obviously I'm re-rolling this ball. Even though the ball is close to the end, you know, there's not a lot of it left. So I have another skein over there. But having all this extra just makes the place deorganized. Yes, disorganized. Having bits of yarn all over the place that I can get tangled up in will make it difficult for me to finish this project. So I have to pause. I have to re-roll the ball. I have to keep it organized. I don't want to have to stop the crocheting every 2 or 3 stitches just to fix the ball, just to re-roll something, to untie a knot. So it's good to have all your materials prepared ahead of time. I didn't know that that ball in the middle there was going to be on the inside. Weird. Alright, there's the little knot. Okay. So this is definitely something that I like to do. I'll spend some time doing some research online and looking up the pattern for the thing that I want to make. And as often as I can, I will try to share that on my site, because I want other people to be inspired with what I'm doing. I want other people to be inspired with what inspires me. The things that I do, the things that I watch to make me want to be creative. I would love for other people to see those and to be, wow, that's why she wants to make one of those, is because, you know, whatever reason that I come up with, the reason why I am creative is because I see things and I'm like, I can visualize someone wearing one of those. I can visualize someone wearing one of these shrugs and how it would move, how it the laciness of the neckline would bounce around, how it would flow. And this is what kind of makes me a pretty good designer, is being able to imagine how it's going to look when it's done. And I've already come to another not full of yarn here. Okay. So this is what we have to go through sometimes, especially when it's leftover yarn or it's yarn that's been sitting around for a while. It's not in the same scheme that it was in when we first got it. You know, if this was a started project that never got finished, it could easily have been unwound and rolled into a ball with this. Yep. And each project is different. Each project has its own resource limit. You get to a point where you're just so stressed out at the ball of yarn and you want to just cut it and quit. That might be a good time to put everything down, calm down, get a nice drink, relax, and work on something else for a little while. And this is how we have a whole bunch of different projects started, right? So we'll get stressed out at one and we'll put it aside until we have more patience or more coffee. Sometimes these things are easy. Oh. Have you ever had a bunch of necklaces? All of the chains of the necklaces got all intertwined with one another. Yeah, not so easy. It's not too troublesome. Okay. There's one twist right here. So we are untwisting. Okay. Right. Now I have a lot of scrap yarns. Little pieces, small little balls that are left over from blankets. I go to thrift stores specifically to find those extra balls of yarn, those extra little pieces, those little things that you can put together as a scrap blanket, or you can make little granny squares out of them, and they'll be unique because there's no more of that particular yarn. Just what you have, just what you required, what you have left over. I like making granny squares. Like putting together random colors of granny squares into a blanket and then having a single color for a border. Things like that. Set this side down. Okay. This is a big empty loop. Okay, so from this side here to this side here, I have this bit of yarn that I have to untangle. I have to make it usable again. I think this is how this sort of thing happened. So I have all this extra in the middle that's usable and ready to go. Then I have this ball over here at the end that's not that's usable and ready to go. But I have this section in the middle here that's not. So if I curled up that over there that's ready to go, I would then curl up this once it's untied. I have a sudden thought. Maybe I can get to the end of my row and switch colors. And then that's a lot less that I have to detangle. And I actually like that idea, so I'm going to work on some more of the crocheting. 1, 2, 3, 2 chains. 1, 2, 3, in the same spot. Switch to the next spot. 1, 2, 3, 2 chains. If I get to the end of the row and I just cut the grain anyway, then I can untangle it and then use it when I get to the next green row. I was waiting for adding the gray until a lot later in the shrug because I didn't want the gray to be overwhelming. I wanted it to mostly be the green. But, you know, sometimes things happen that make us change our pattern slightly. It's nothing new to have to change the pattern or change the color scheme a little bit. There are times when I've gotten a ball of yarn home that I thought was the most beautiful thing ever, and it didn't actually fit. It didn't match anything that I was doing. And it's makes you sigh sometimes, makes you wonder, did I see that color wrong? Or was I just so in love with the color that I had, or with this color, that I wasn't seeing the whole picture? So I have yarn was just sitting around doing nothing because I thought it was great when I saw it, but I don't have anything to make into it. I don't have something to work it with. And this does happen. Every creative person, every artist goes through moments where they're not exactly sure what they should do. What should they make? How should they use this particular medium to turn it into something that they'll love? A person that they want to make it for or want to give it to will love. It happens to everybody. Looks like I'm getting closer to the knotted section of the green. So I may have to pause and do some more untangling here. Okay, put the shrug over there. Shrug. The untangling. Sounds like a scary movie or something. 1980s LARP game. Yeah, they are very twisted right now. Very, very twisted. It's like an 80s LARP game. Or a scary movie being very twisted. Alright. I'm untwisting one side, but I'm twisting up the other side, and that can get a little stressful. Because what am I going to have to do later? Untwist it. Twist other parts too. But I have the ball on the side that I can untwist with. Untwist. Do the twist. So this ball has to go through here, untwisting, untwisting, untwisting. Okay. I got a big section undone. Yay! Yay! the ball. Down the ski. Merrily, 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 merrily. Untie the knot in your dreams. Silly songs. Okay, so we're down to this one little section of knot or twist. It's not really knotted, it's more twisted. Twist, 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 twist. Like my sister. Ha! Ha! Sorry, I have no idea what happened there. There's a part that just suddenly was untied. Ah, guess it happens like that. It's really windy outside. So, I'm going to wind up this ball a little bit more. Put it out there. Okay. So, I'm going to go through here. Through here. So, I have been crocheting since I was 10 years old. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I started when I was, just a wee baby. No, I started when I was 10 years old. Went over to a friend's house, and her mom was crocheting. And we sat there for hours watching her crochet, watching her do what she was doing. And I had no idea that my mom already knew how to do this as well. But something about, my friend's mom being cool because she could do this inspired me to learn how to do this. And that was 30 years ago now. So I've been crocheting for 30 years. That's more than, most people have been around. And can't exactly say that because I don't know who's going to be watching this. But I tried teaching my daughter how to do it. She ended up getting inspired from another one of her friends, just like me. And it's all untied, by the way. Woo! And it's amazing how that works. Your own family does it and you don't really even think about it. But as soon as someone else's family does it, it's amazing and awesome. And she's done a couple of things. Each of the kids have done their own thing. Tried teaching a stepdaughter. She did a couple little things and then moved on. It wasn't really a hobby that they stuck with. And I understand that. I mean, there's this huge section of my life that I didn't crochet. Not because I couldn't, but it just, I had more priorities. I had other things that I wanted to do. Crocheting was not something I had time for. And now I'm older and I have more time to sit. I have more time to relax. I have more time to put into crocheting. More time to, I guess, dedicate to relaxation. I don't know, maybe having had a few kids, I've earned a little bit more relaxation, but I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to describe not having time for a hobby, not having time for something that gives you joy, but having time to cook dinner, having time to go to work. I wish I could just spend all day long crocheting, all day long working on the hobbies and the crafts that make me happy, and being able to live off of that. That would be wonderful. It would be great to put together crocheting groups and get together just to crochet a bunch of hats for the homeless, to crochet a bunch of scarves for people who need to keep warm. Right now there's a lot of cold people in the country. Holy moly. Back east is just this unexpected cold wave came in and made everybody freeze their butts off. Some people quite literally. Quite literally. Oh my goodness. So now, do I want to switch colors as soon as I get to the end of my row? Or do I want to work a little bit more with the green first? I don't know. I haven't decided. I want to sit and sew and sit and crochet and sit and sit. Do hobbies and crafts that thrill me. Teach others how to do hobbies and crafts. Some of it, just having that moment of looking at something and saying, I made that. I put that item together. I took that yarn and I applied this hook to it in a special way that formed fabric. It's a special way that formed a blanket. It formed each of these little designs, each of these stitches. And I was able to produce something. This will still be around when I'm gone. My kids look at this blanket and go, wow, my mom did that. Will they be able to see the blanket that I'm sitting on and go, wow, Grandma made that? It's something that everybody wants, right, is to be remembered when they're gone. To have those memories come forward and go, wow, I remember when that happened. I remember who made that. I remember how I felt. I worked on a blanket for my stepdaughter's 16th birthday. All of her favorite colors, she loved blue. So I used blue and I used black. So black was the main background, and the different blue colors were different squares. And I got it to her years later when it was finally finished. And the look on her face of, I remember when you started that. You made that, and it's beautiful, and it's wow. My other stepdaughter had a baby, and I made multiple different shades of pink and black background for the baby, and basically said, here, you had a baby, have a blanket. And I don't know if her baby knows where that blanket came from, or if she even still has it, but I would like to think that she does, and that it would be heartwarming to know that future generations will look and say, hey, Dana made that. Right now, I'm just concentrating on this. I don't know who will wear the shrug, but I'd like to think whoever does will look at it and think, wow, that's pretty. Because I already think it's pretty, but you know, I'm a little biased. Oop, I didn't do the spaces. Oops. It's one thing is it's really easy to back up if you forgot a stitch. Not so easy to back up when you're knitting. Right, there's the end of my row. So this lacy part will be the collar, and it'll fold back, and hopefully it'll look nice. I think I'm going to go ahead and do another row in the green, and then I'm going to do a more openy, lacy sort of thing in the heather gray, and like one row with the heather gray, and then go back to some of the green, and just give a little hint that the gray is part of it. And it'll be interesting. I'm probably going to need more yarn. Who knows? But I'll sit here and work on it and invite you all in to watch. 1, 2, 3. Right. So I got all the way back to the row. I'm just going to do a quick slip stitch here to connect the row. And one of the things that I'm going to do, because I don't use the area in between the stitches, I use the little peak at the center of each stitch cluster, I guess is the right term for that. But right now where I am, I'm kind of stuck in the middle. So I'm going to do some really quick slip stitches to bring my loop over here to the center. So I went from here to here. Just quick little stitches. Those tricks that you learn when you're working on stuff. Years and years of working on stuff. But yeah, I like the, well, actually, I think I want to do that hint of gray now before I move on too much further. But I don't want it to be a solid row. I just want it to be like a little bit of gray. So I think I'm going to do some open work. It's hard to describe what I mean. It's kind of lacy stuff. So let's see, this one I think. Okay. So to make some open work, I think I'm going to do, alright, further down here, each of these rows there was 2 double crochet, 2 chains, and then 2 double crochet. And that happened for 4 rows, and then this latest row has 3 double crochet, a single. I think I'm going to go through and do a V-stitch, which is a single double crochet, 2 chain, single double crochet, and then I'm going to do a bunch of crochets in between, so it's more open and airy. I don't really want to change the pattern too much, but I'm just going to have this extra open row. Okay, I got my loop, got my heather. Plus, I get halfway through the row. If I don't like it, I can unwind it all. That's how it works. Sewing my end here really quick. No, it's weird. Why are you going back into the green? Because I'm sewing in the end. Okay. So, here, where we're starting, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, as one side of my V-stitch. Okay, now it's all about figuring out how many chains I need in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another V-stitch. Counting how far apart they are here is, I think, about how much room I need. Okay, so we got 2 here, we got a big space, and we got 2 here. I think that's what we got. Gonna be long enough? It's gonna be 2. No, I think that's gonna be right where it needs to be. Okay. Yay! More open work means you go along faster, but it doesn't look like anything solid. It doesn't look like a good quality solid row because it's open work. Open work, by definition, leaves a lot of holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Through 2, 3. Ooh, what happened back there? It's good to be aware of what you're doing when you're crocheting so that you can look back and see, oh, there's a mistake. Because that was definitely a mistake. I was about to do it again. Silly, silly me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 2, 4, 2, 2. Slowly but surely, we'll get all the way around. 2, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how well you can see it on the video, but I love how this gray and the green go really good together. And you'll obviously be able to see it more the further along I get with the gray. But I'm only doing this one row of gray right now. I'm going to go back to green, so it'll just give a little hint. But once the gray comes on as the sleeves, and it'll stand out. I think it'll be really pretty. There are days when choosing colors It's so natural and easy and pretty. And there are some days when you go, what was I thinking? There's a lot more days of what was I thinking than anything else. So. Two. Oop, I was going to do it again. Goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd think with how often I just counted out loud that I would remember that, you know, I need to count to 5 in between the V-stitches. And they are called V-stitches because they look like a little V over here. And I needed to yarn over. 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 1, 2, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Stuck underneath here. About halfway around. See, maybe you can see it. Just a little touch of gray. I like that song too. I am an old school type of rock, classic rock, and there's kind of a wide variety of music types that I like. But there are still some musics that I don't like. I'm not a fan of most rap. If I can't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth when you're singing a song, it's not singing. Well, okay, maybe opera is singing, but without really understanding the words. Okay, you got me on that one. If the rap music and the words are coming out in speaking, they're blah 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 blah. That's not really music and singing. I understand the beats and having a nice steady beat. That's awesome. I love drumming. But there's just some things that don't sound like music. Then again, there are some things that do sound like music that I'm not a really big fan of either. I am not a really big fan of classical music, orchestras and fanfare and things that I would listen to in an elevator. Not really my thing. Sorry. I have friends who love playing the violin, love playing the flute, and it's just not my thing. Not for me. Then again, I have friends who like heavy metal, And I'm like, yeah. And then some of it I'm like, no. And then I have friends who like country, and there's some of it that, oh wow, yeah, that tells a story. That sounds great. It has a wonderful beat to it. And then there's some country music that I'm like, eh? No. So I guess in every genre of music, there is some music that is good and some music that is bad. I mean, I like the old rap music. Heaven forbid you guys hate me because I say I like Will Smith when he rapped. But I also like Tone Loc and LL Cool J. But, my era of rappers, there's some rappers out here now that they say a whole lot of words that I don't understand, but the ones that I do understand are usually bad words. I don't need that sort of negativity in my life. But there's some country music that I cringe at. Some of it, because you can pick up the words really quick, you pick up the beat really quick, it's easy to sing along. And then there's just some stuff where it sounds like yodeling. There's some songs that some modern good quality singers have music flowing out of their mouth, and I still kind of look at it and go, um, ew. There's a lot of like Shakira music that I like, but then there's a lot of her stuff that I don't like. I mean, yep, there's good and bad in everything. Yep, good and bad in everything. And normally I would have music going or the television going, but I don't want to get distracted, even though I was plenty distracted by that ball of yarn that just wasn't going so great. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2. Wait, back up. Hold on. Hold the front door. I messed up there. Just do 1, 2, and then have another double crochet, and then 5. I was jumping back to the previous row pattern. Oh my gosh, I'm almost all the way around. Woo! I would say 2/3. Woo! Yay! See, just crocheting and chatting makes the time fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. There's some things that I'm working on. And I kind of figure the only time I'm really going to spend sitting and working on it is if I'm videotaping it. If I am making it into a video for you all to enjoy what I'm making and to follow along and watch what's being made, that gives me incentive to do each of the things that I'm working on. I want to share to the world all the different things that I'm crocheting. So how else am I going to share it to the world unless I'm actually sitting here making it in front of you? So I'm going to get more projects done because I'm sitting and working on them. And I'm hoping that everyone enjoys my chit chat. and everyone enjoys watching me crochet, watching the project as it moves along. I mean, maybe I'll just make a bunch of videos that are this project, get it done, and then make the next project. Be able to show different things that are happening at the same time. We'll see. There's only so much time of the process that I can show to the world, to you guys, and maybe I can inspire you to learn how to crochet. Maybe I can inspire you to crochet with me, to just turn me on your computer there and sit and crochet with me. Maybe I can inspire you to make a YouTube channel and be part of it, be part of everything. But I got all the way around, and I think this is where I am going to stop for the day. And if you want to see some more videos, not just of what I make, but what I'm inspired by, I hope that you guys would subscribe to my channel and come back in the future.